In a world where people are losing their minds, who will be the voice of sanity, of logic, of rationale, of morality and truth? This podcast is looking for like-minded people to stand up to the insane and be real. The Recovery Atheist podcast is calling you to step forward and be counted. Welcome to the voice of change. Welcome to the Recovery Atheist podcast.
Well, hello, everybody out there in Podcast Nation. This is the Recovery Atheist coming to you from the Trey Entertainment Studios, otherwise known as my bedroom, for another week or so, until I get my other studio set up. And I just want to say that I am so happy and honored that you've been able to join me today. Well, it's been a good Sunday. My Packers won against the Eagles today to move to 9-3. Seattle lost, which leaves the Packers in the number 2 seed all by themselves. And since the Vikings won today, if the playoffs ended today, the Packers would be taking on the Vikings in the playoffs. Who knew? We'll see how that goes. Congrats to the Vikings for salvaging their year and getting themselves back in the playoff hunt. When they started off 1-5, I would never thought I would have said that they're in the final playoff spot, but they are. So congrats to them for recovering like they have. Yeah. So there's that. So today I've been thinking about a lot of different topics about what I wanted to talk about today. And the biggest thing that has been sticking in my mind, because I have a lot of new things coming up, a lot of changes that are happening. I've had some situations that have happened over the last couple days that leads into this topic. And that topic is fears. All of us have fears that we deal with one way or the other. And they can be very paralyzing. They can control how you think, the way your life is, and the decisions that you make. One of the things that you do in the 4th step is to go over your fears and what they are. And there's tons of them that we can go with. I think one of the biggest ones is just having the fear of the unknown, not knowing exactly what's going to happen in the future. I also deal with having the fear of success because I expect the other shoe to drop. And then I also have the fear of failure because then I lose my security in my life that I want. So I'm fucked when it comes to that. I have both the fear of success and the fear of failure at the same time. That really sucks. For most of the things in my life, I would say to this point, I don't have to fear. Things are going good. I have a lot of different situations that are coming up here that have a good chance of making me feel happy and successful, and that things in my life are going in the right direction. But then with anybody in life, you're going to have moments that you've got some fear going on to where your mind wants to ruminate on it, wants to think about it, dwell on it, and it's not doing you any good but causing added stress that you don't need. So what are those fears that you have today? It could be a new job. It could be moving to a new city. It could be a new relationship. It could be lots of different things. It could be the COVID and what's going on with that. It could be a surgery that's coming up like I had recently. Yeah, lots of different things. You could be going through a divorce. You could be going through treatment and the fear involved with that. So there's lots of things that we can draw off of in fear. And that's kind of where I want to go in the directions today. So talk about my life a little bit with fear. Do I have any fear about me moving into this new sober living home and being a house manager? Not an overwhelming, paralyzing fear. It's more of that fear of success and then the fear of failure part of it. I want to be able to go into the situation and feel like I have a purpose and I'm contributing, and that things are going to go smoothly, and that it's going to be a great transition. Anytime you make change and you transition into a new part for yourself, maybe a new part to your life, could be a new relationship, anything like that, there's going to be some fear and anxiety that's involved. I would say that mainly the anxiety I'm having is just wanting the transition to go smoothly. I don't really want any hiccups or anything like that. I would like it to just kind of work out itself and have it work out beautifully. For me, for Brian, the house owner, for Isaac, the director, I would like everything to kind of transition and go as planned. Now, that being said, we all know that when we try to make plans and try to stick to those plans, that a lot of times those plans end up not going the way that we want them, and then we get frustrated with it, and that fear and anxiety comes into play, and we're concerned whether or not it's going to work out the way we want it. And then we can become paralyzed. As addicts, we do that big time with things that happen in our life. And when we feel that way, we don't want to feel like that anymore. So what we end up doing is we end up using whatever our drug of choice is to try to numb those feelings, or try to, put us in a state of mind to where we're not thinking about those issues. And that's what gets me in trouble. So we'll talk a little bit about examples of this coming from my point of view, my perspective. So this week at work, it was kind of a stressful week. On Friday, I ended up having a discussion with one of my bosses. It ended up getting a little bit heated. I did not appreciate some things that were said. And I got a little bit upset about it, probably raised my voice a little bit too much than what I needed to, but I felt like I was disrespected, and I felt like I wasn't appreciated for what I do. And some of the things that were said I didn't think were appropriate on his part. Now, because of it, we got into it to where it's like, do you want me here or not? Do you want me to work here? Do you want, whatever. And so now, throughout this weekend, in my mind is, are they going to fire me? Even though, in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, why would they do that when it's just an argument that we can figure out how to get through and live in the solution, which I sent a text to him last night saying that I want to see us work through this and get through the problem and look for the solution. It would look at it from my point of view as an addict that, if something's going to go wrong or bad, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen to me. So I clearly expect to go in tomorrow, and I've lost my job. Now, is there any evidence to this? Any proof to this? Has anything been said to me? No. It's me creating these beliefs, these stressors, the anxiety, the fear. I'm creating it. Now, who knows? I might go in there tomorrow, and that might be exactly what happens. Most likely it won't, but maybe it does. And even if it does that mean the end of the world? No, it doesn't. It's not the end of the world. I would move on. I would find a way to be able to survive, and I would be able to do it sober. Now, this is where fear has paralyzed me in the past when it comes to these situations. It just happened this last year when I lost a job in January because the boss and I, he literally over a situation that really was not in my control, decided to let me go or put me in a position that way. And what did I do? I locked myself up in a hotel room and got drunk for days because I didn't want to think about it. All I could see was me being a failure, even though when you really look at it, it was a failure on the part of the boss, not me. I had done everything I could to make whatever he thought was wrong right, and he still could not get beyond it. So because of that, how is that my fault? But I took it as a fear, and I took it as I'm a failure. I took it as why even try? Even when I'm sober and doing what I need to do, I still get fucked. And I said, well, if that's the way it's going to be, I might as well just go drink and use because that's what everybody expects. And that's what I did. In the same situation that I'm in right now, I could easily be doing that as well. I could easily be thinking that way, well, and even if it does come down the line where I'm not working for them anymore, I could easily use that excuse. And that's all it is an excuse. And it's an excuse for my addict to take over and destroy my life. No matter what happens with the job, I'll be able to move forward and find another job. Okay, I am not in dire straits right now without a job. I would be able to survive. But yet I still have that nagging fear in the back of my mind telling me that if that happens, it's the end of the world. How many of us feel that way? I don't know how many times, and I say this all the time to people, but I don't know how many times I've been in situations where it's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. This is the worst thing I've ever been through. I don't know how I'm ever going to get through it. This is the end of the world. It's done. It's over. It's never going to get better. And then 6 months later, something happens again, and it's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. I'll never get through this. I'll never be able to change this. I'll never be able to get better, blah, blah, blah. And I keep saying that, and what I mean by that is it doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop. I continue to find a way to survive and continue to move forward. You look at the last 6 years of my life, it has been a horrendous struggle. It has been a nightmare for me to get my life back into the position that it's in today. I mean, it's been dark. My life has been very, very dark. And today I see the light. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see what I'm trying to work toward. And a job, a relationship, whatever it is not going to stop me from having what I feel I deserve in life, which is sobriety, recovery, and the good things that are happening to me in my life today. Just because somebody else's opinion of me or because they want to go in a different direction doesn't make me a bad person. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm done with taking other people's baggage and taking it on me as I'm the reason for it. No more. I will not do that anymore. So life is going to go forward regardless of what happens. So it's, for me, is I have to make the best out of whatever situation that gets handed to me. And life would go on. It's not the end of the world. Okay? But these are the fears that a lot of times control me. Got a new relationship that I'm looking at, that I'm getting involved with, and my fear is somehow, honestly, and I know she's probably listening to me right now, is I'm going to get hurt again. Because I've been hurt so many times before in relationships, that my fear is that I'm going to get invested into it and then it's going to blow up in my face like every other relationship has. So, again, another fear that can paralyze me to the point where I've used it to where I isolate myself away from everybody, because if I'm alone and by myself, there's a good chance the only person that's going to hurt me is going to be me. How many of us feel that way? How many of us right now are paralyzed in fear because of the COVID and won't leave your house? You're not going to see your family members because of it. You're going to lock yourself up and away from everybody because of COVID. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a little bit of fear involved with it, or that there's not something to have anxiety about when it comes to the virus. There definitely is. But does that mean you need to lock yourself away in your room and lock the door and throw the key away and stay away from everyone because of it? Not everybody has COVID. I'm very happy today. My mom and dad got back to me today, and I have found out that their COVID tests, both of them came back negative. So it's a go. They will be coming up at Christmas time. We will be spending time together, and I am so excited to be able to see them and to have them be a part of my life here. It's going to be enjoyable to be able to have them here and see them at the holidays. Doing holidays alone by yourself are not fun at all. They're not, no. It's nice to have people that you can celebrate the holidays with, especially loved ones. And not everybody has that opportunity. And if you know someone who doesn't have that opportunity to do that, invite them to yours. Let them enjoy the holidays with some other people that care about them. Fear controls us. It's all through social media. It's all through the regular media. Everywhere you look, it's fear, 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 fear. You're fearing this. You're fearing North Korea. You're fearing the weather. You're fearing whether or not health care is going to be there. You're fearing whether or not unemployment or a stimulus check is coming. You're fearing whether or not your job is going to continue to be available to you and not be shut down because of COVID. When are you going to get your next meal? Are you going to be able to get rent paid? Are you going to be able to get your bills paid? You fear your health. You fear your family's health, your wife's health, your husband's health, your kids' health, parents' health, friends and family. Is your car going to break down? We have all these fears that we stuff inside and we let them control us. Why is that? Why is it such a programmed part of us to fear everything that's around us? And a lot of the things that we fear are things that we fear because we just don't understand. Okay, I'm an atheist. Straight up atheist. Don't believe in God. From my experiences, there is no God. If you've had an experience to yourself that you say, well, I've experienced it, great for you, but your experience does not transfer over to me. That's your own experience. I have not had that experience. And from what I've seen, there is none to me that warrants me saying that there is a God. But when I say I'm an atheist, people fear that. You can just see their hairs stand up and their walls go up because they don't understand it. How can you not believe in a God? They can't understand it, and so if they don't understand it, fear comes up. You see it with the Christians a lot on social media and stuff, that they are scared of who an atheist is. I am an atheist, and what that defines me as is I am a secular humanist. I am about humans and people that are around me and taking care of them and using the resources that I have to be able to help and make a difference in the world. And God does not have to be a part of it. Okay? I'm also a Satanist. I am a member of the Satanic Temple. And am a proud member of them. When it comes to that, people think Satanists right away, their fear level goes up. What are they doing? Are they sacrificing babies? Are they, sex orgies and drinking blood and all? No, I'm sorry. There's different types of Satanists. There might be some out there that are doing that. I've never seen it. It's more of what they call the satanic panic. Anytime you hear that, they automatically assume that we're evil. If you look at the temple and what we represent with our 7 tenets and everything of that nature, we are humanists. We are people that care about other people. Mainly, the reason why we call ourselves Satanists in the first place is because Satan, in Latin means adversary. So what we are is we're the adversaries against religious order. We're the adversaries against the religious right that's coming in and telling us how we're supposed to live, by dictating us what laws we should have and who we're going to be according to what they believe. We are an adversary to that, and we will stand up and fight. And that's been some of the biggest things that the temple has done when it comes to dealing with abortion, or dealing with putting the 10 Commandments up on the court steps. We stand up against that and say, fine, if you're going to do that, freedom of religion means we have the right to put a statue of Baphomet up on the state capitol. And if you're going to do that, then the Jews have the right to put whatever symbol they want up. The Muslims have the right to put whatever symbol they want up on the front steps. You cannot just have a Christian monument on a state capitol. There is a separation of church and state with that. You cannot represent just one religion. You have to take all of them, including Satanism. Christians don't like that. They fear that. They fear that we're going to somehow corrupt their children. Well, what about the children? Well, if you're raising them up the way that you want them to be anyway, and you have God in your life and you believe in God being all-powerful, what are you scared of? Seriously. What are you afraid of? If God has a perfect plan and a design for everything that's in this world and for you and for everybody involved, what are you concerned about some lowly Satanist that's over here according to your beliefs? Again, it comes down to control. You're more afraid because you're not in control. You want to have control. And guess what? I do too. I love control. I love being, it helps my anxiety, it helps my fears when I'm able to control things and control others and control environments and control, because then I get to decide what's going to happen. But guess what? In life, that's not the case. In life, you don't get to control a lot of things. You have to run with it. You have to go with what's handed to you. So when I say I'm an atheist, when I say I'm a Satanist, people look at me and fear it because they don't understand it. And then when you try to sit there and try to talk with the individual and show them who you are, they don't want to hear it, because automatically their response and what they've been preconditioned to believe is that we're evil. The truth is that atheists and Satanists can do just as much good in the world as any Christian can. Okay, Christians set up charities and other events to help people across the world. Guess what? Atheists and Satanists are doing the same thing. We can have make just as much of a positive difference in this world as a Christian can. You do not need God for that. But people fear it. And when you look at the religious right that way, the Christian right, that's what their religion is based on. Fear. You don't follow the rules, you don't do what God wants you to do, you're going to burn in a lake of fire forever and ever and have your skin melted off. You're going to be gnashing your teeth. You're going to be praying just for a drop of water. You are a bad person, so you're going to burn. And it's based off fear, and this is what we teach our kids in Sunday school at a young age. We scare them. And then we wonder why we have such a fear complex in this country. We wonder why people live in fear every single day and make decisions based off that fear. You look at every religion. You look at the Muslims. They fear the infidel, so they attack the infidel. Not all Muslims. I'm talking about extreme Muslims. The ones that are bombing and terrorists that way. They fear the infidel. They fear the American, the Westerner, the Christian right. They fear all of that because they don't understand it. Their religion is the only religion. The Quran is the only true word of God. They will tell you that. While the Christians will say, no, the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible are the only true words of God. Fear has ran this world for years and years. The Christian Crusades. Do you believe in my God? No? Well, I fear you. I don't understand you. Stab, 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 stab. You die because you don't believe the God I believe. The Salem witch hunts. All the witch hunts that happened. She's a witch. She's a witch. I fear that, so what we're going to do is kill them because we don't understand what's truly going on here. Which most likely had nothing to do with any kind of a supernatural. I'm playing a game right now on my PS4, and that's what it's about. It's about the witch trials. It's got a Salem feel to it. It's called Little Hope. It's a name of a town that these people end up in. It's makers of the same game of Until Dawn. So it's a butterfly effect game. Whatever choices you make have a butterfly effect down the road and what happens later in the game. But it's all about these witch trials and how the fear caused them to kill all these people in the community when there was nothing there for it to be true. And I think that's what fear is. Okay? There's a way of looking at the word fear, and how is it said? I can't remember. I'm going to have to think about it not being real. False evidence, that's it. False evidence appearing real. That's fear. A lot of us base our fear on stuff that's not even there. We base our fear on things that when we finally get to wherever we're at that we're fearing, it's not what we expected it to be, and we really didn't have to fear it in the first place. So like with my job situation, no matter what happens with it, life will go on and it'll all work out. I don't have to live in fear of that. The last day I've been sitting here in fear. And today I woke up and started thinking about it, and it's like, no, I'm not going to. I don't have to. Life will continue to go forward. It's a job. No more than that. It's not life or death. I will be just fine with or without the job. I'd like to keep the job. I would like to work with them on it and try to figure out how we can get through this, because I feel that there's a lot of bad communication that's going on here. But at the same time, it's also not life or death whether I have it or not. I don't have to live in fear anymore. Working the steps in AA has taught me I don't have to live in fear anymore. Things will happen the way that they happen, and there's always a solution to what happens. And the solution is definitely, for me, not taking a drink. I don't need to take a drink to deal with these fears. I don't need to take a drink to deal with issues that come up in my life. I've moved beyond that. So how do we move beyond fear? How do we stop allowing fear to take control, to dominate, and to paralyze us? I would say that one of the number one things to do is to talk about that fear outside of yourself to somebody else. I think that's the number one thing that we have to do. So Friday when I got home after all that, I sat down with my sponsor when I saw him, and I kind of unloaded, and we had a conversation about it. I got it out in the open. When you get those things out in the open and you vocalize it with somebody else, you take the power away from it. It allowed me to get a better perspective, get more of a better grounding, and get my bearings right on everything, to what to do with it, how to think about it. And so the last 24 hours after that, I thought about it, how I should look at it, what is right, what is wrong, and today I'm okay. Today I'm okay with, regardless of what happens, I'm okay with whatever the outcome is. My life will go forward. And I will continue to grow. I will continue to be a better person. I will continue to help others. So definitely talking about it, getting it out in the open, getting some different perspectives from other people. As long as you're telling the truth on what happened, you will get honest perspectives from other people. You have to tell the truth, though. You have to say truly what you're fearing, what your thoughts are, what happened, what was your role in it. I admit that I got a little heated about it. I got heated after the fact of some things being said to me I didn't appreciate and felt were disrespectful. But I did get heated, and I probably could have taken it down a notch, and I probably could have approached it from a different angle. But there was a reason I got triggered in that. I felt disrespected, I felt unappreciated, and that doesn't go well with me. That does not fly very well with me. So I got my bearings back to where I'm at today, where it's like, okay, I know my role in it, but I know their role in it. And I'm not the one that's all wrong in this. There was a lot of wrong on their side. And I'm okay with that. Even if they want to hold on to it and think that they were right. Even if they want to hold on to it and make a grudge out of it. Even if they want to hold on to it and punish me for it. I've cleaned my side of the street. Have you cleaned your side of the street when it comes to stuff like that? If you clean your side of the street and you're honest about everything, you don't need to fear. I don't have to defend the truth. If I am living my life in truth and in honesty, and I'm living my life the way that I'm supposed to, as a human, someone who has a humanistic view, someone who wants to help others, if I live my life according to that, I don't have to defend the decisions I make. I don't have to defend who I am to somebody else, because I am authentic, I am real, and I don't have to second guess the decisions I make. But when you're lying about things, or you don't want to get out the truth about how it made you feel, or this or that, then yeah, you're not being true to yourself. It says it right on our medallion, to thine own self be true. And that's what I live in every single day of my life, is to my own self, to thine own self. I want to be true. I want to be true to me. I want to be true to my beliefs. I want to be true to my core hardcore beliefs. I want to be true to what my purpose is and what I'm contributing to the world. Can you say that? We play a bigger part in the world to let fear control us. There's too many good people out there that are letting fear dictate how they feel about themselves, what they do in their lives, and how they interact with other people. I'm saying you can be fearless. You can be brave. You can be determined and have a purpose in life. You do not have to fear everything that's around you. You do not have to fear what's going to be coming up around the next corner, because if you're doing everything that you know that you can do and are working hard to achieve that, you don't need to fear what's coming around the next corner, because you'll figure out what you need to do to make it right. Yeah. So going into these holidays, there's people that are fearing seeing their families. Maybe you got to see an ex ex-wife, ex-husband, with the kids and everything. Maybe it's the first time you're seeing your family since you got out of treatment, and there's some family members that'll be there that you screwed over. And you got to see them there, and maybe you got to make amends like I have to. No one ever said life was going to be easy. No one ever said recovery was going to be easy. No one ever said that just living in the world that we live in today is going to be easy. It's not. As Jay-Z says, or Annie says as well, it's mainly Annie, but it's a hard knock life for us. It is. We get knocked down a lot in this life. It's not about how many times you get knocked down, as Rocky says. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you keep getting up. I've been knocked down a lot of times, but yet I'm still here. Still moving forward. I'm still becoming a better person. Can you say that? I hope you can. I hope you're doing everything you can to be the best person that you can be and have purpose in life. So you can transfer that on to other people and be there for other people. Be supportive. Enjoy love. Enjoy happiness. Enjoy joy. I love that line from Ren and Stimpy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. 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 Happy, 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 joy, joy, joy. Right? We want to live like that. We want to be able to enjoy life and just enjoy the company that we have around us, and we don't need to have fear involved. So I challenge you today. What fears do you have that when you look at it for reals, man, for reals, 100, when you look at those fears, you look at it and go, why am I putting so much into this fear? Why am I wasting so much of my energy dealing with this fear that I have? Let it go. Move on to the things that you really need to focus on, and don't let fear control you. And that's what I have to say today. Hope everybody out there is having a great month, great day. Hope you're getting ready for the holidays and have good plans coming up. Hope you're doing well with the whole COVID situation. Wear your masks. If you do have COVID, speedy recovery. You can find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, The Recovery Atheist. You can email me at therecoveryatheist@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook under Del Bacon. I also have a group page, The Recovery Atheist. And then also you can find me on many, many different platforms. I'm on like 10 different platforms now streaming through your Android, iPhone, smart speakers, any of that on your computers. I'm on Pandora now. This week I was added. I'm on Spotify, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts. I'm all over the place. So Amazon Music. So check me out. Check out some of my other episodes that you might like. Give me some comments, send me an email, let me know any topics that you're interested in. And I am always looking for someone to be interviewed to give their story of strength and hope to other addicts in recovery, or really any topics. You could be a religious apologetic who wants to come on and discuss religion and atheism. And have dialogue, a healthy dialogue that way. I mean, I'll talk about anything if it's something that I feel is important content to bring to my podcast. So again, I thank everybody for coming on and listening to me today, and I just wish everyone the best. Be safe out there. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Atheist podcast. It's now up to you. What will you do with what you've heard? How will you use it? I challenge you not to stay silent. Be heard. Be real. Be different.